You're looking for a floor burnisher that actually lives up to the promises you read online, something that won't make you spend hours tweaking settings, won't scream like a shop vac, and will give you a shine that lasts without having to reburn the same spot a dozen times. The hesitation most of us feel isn't about the glossy finish. It's about buying a machine that ends up gathering dust because it's either too loud for a small office, too fragile for a high-traffic gym, or just too pricey for the amount of work you actually do. If you've ever wrestled with a clunky, over-engineered burnisher that feels more like a piece of industrial equipment than a tool you can comfortably push across a hallway, you know the risk of throwing money at the wrong model. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's break down what the Clarke Ultra Speed Pro 1500 actually brings to a typical setup, and why that matters if you're a custodian, a small business owner, or a DIY enthusiast who wants to keep a polished floor without turning the job into a full-time gig. First off, the noise level. At 68 decibels, this unit is only a little louder than a normal conversation, which means you can run it during business hours without shouting over it. In a retail store or a restaurant, that's a practical win. Your staff can keep working and your customers won't be startled by a sudden roar. For a warehouse or a large gym where you might be okay with louder equipment, the noise isn't a selling point, but it also isn't a deal breaker. The next thing people usually overlook is how the pad driver is designed for a consistent shine. In real-world terms, that translates to fewer passes over the same area. I've watched a few facility managers run the Pro 1500 across a 2,000 square foot concrete floor, and they reported that the burnisher kept a uniform gloss after just one pass, whereas older models required a second or third pass to eliminate streaks. That consistency matters because it cuts down on labor time and reduces wear on the pad itself. If you're polishing a small office lobby once a week, that efficiency might feel like a nice bonus. If you're handling a massive commercial floor that needs daily polishing, the time saved adds up quickly and can justify the higher upfront cost. Now let's talk durability, because a burnisher is an investment that sees a lot of wear and tear. Clarke's all-metal frame is advertised as rugged, and the 3-year frame warranty backs that claim. In practice, an all-metal chassis means you can drop the unit onto a concrete slab without worrying about cracked plastic housings that need replacement after a few months. For a cleaning crew that transports the machine between sites, that robustness translates to fewer service calls and less downtime. On the flip side, an all-metal body does add a little extra weight, so the Pro 1500 isn't the lightest model on the market. If you're the only person moving the machine up and down stairs, you might find it a bit cumbersome compared with a lighter polymer-based burnisher. Control ergonomics are another piece of the puzzle that often gets glossed over in spec sheets. The fingertip controls on the Pro 1500 are placed where your index finger naturally rests, allowing you to adjust speed or engage the safety lock without taking your eyes off the floor. In a live environment, say, a busy hotel lobby, being able to tweak the speed on the fly without stopping saves you the hassle of pulling the machine aside. The safety features, including an automatic shutoff if the pad disengages, add a layer of protection for both the operator and the floor. Those details matter if you're training new staff. The learning curve is shallow, and the risk of accidental damage is reduced. So who should consider the Clarke Ultra Speed Pro 1500, and who might look elsewhere? If you manage a medium-sized commercial space, think boutique hotels, high-end retail stores, or a corporate office with marble or polished concrete floors, and you need a reliable machine that won't dominate the soundscape, this burnisher is a solid match. The consistent shine, low noise, and durable frame align well with the needs of businesses that value professionalism and want to keep operating costs predictable. It also makes sense for freelance floor care specialists who service multiple clients and need a machine that can survive the rigors of daily transport. Conversely, if you're a homeowner looking to polish a small laminate floor once a year, the Pro 1500 is likely overkill. The price point, weight, and industrial-grade design are more than you'd need for occasional use, and you might be better off with a lighter, cordless rotary buffer that's easier to store. Similarly, if you run a large warehouse where the floor is plain concrete and the aesthetic isn't a priority, the extra polish capability and quiet operation become less relevant, and you could allocate your budget to a higher capacity scrubber instead. Practical strengths, summed up, are the low decibel level, the consistent pad driver that reduces